In the humid darkness of a Hollywood, Florida neighborhood, two lives collided in a moment that would change everything forever. The sound of a single gunshot pierced the October night air, silencing the chirping crickets and distant traffic. Officer Yandy Chirino, 28 years old and dedicated to protecting his community, lay dying in the street. His killer, 18-year-old Jason Banegas, would later tell police they had struggled over the gun. But in that instant, as Chirino took his final breath, the wheels of justice began turning toward a question that would divide a community: does a traumatic childhood excuse taking a life? And when that life belongs to a police officer who died in the line of duty, should the penalty be death? The answers would come down to 12 jurors who held two men's fates in their hands. The Emerald Hills neighborhood of Hollywood, Florida seemed like any other quiet residential area on the evening of October 18, 2021. Palm trees swayed gently in the warm breeze, and the streets were lined with modest homes where families were settling in for the night. Children's bicycles sat in driveways, porch lights glowed warmly, and the sounds of dinner conversations drifted through open windows. But this peaceful suburban tranquility was about to be shattered. Reports were coming into 911 dispatch about someone breaking into cars parked along the tree-lined streets. For residents, it was a violation of their sense of security. For the Hollywood Police Department, it was a routine call requiring investigation. What none of them could know was that this seemingly minor crime would escalate into something far more deadly. Yandy Chirino was more than just a badge and uniform walking the streets of Hollywood, Florida. At 28 years old, he had chosen a profession that demanded everything from him: his time, his energy, his courage, and ultimately, his life. Every morning when he put on that crisp blue uniform and pinned his badge to his chest, he understood the risks. Every call could be routine traffic stop or a domestic dispute. Every call could be his last. His colleagues at the Hollywood Police Department knew him as someone who never backed down from danger, who always stepped forward when others might step back. His family saw the man behind the badge, someone with dreams that extended beyond his shift schedule, someone who believed in making his community safer. He had no way of knowing that October 18th would be different from all the other calls he had answered. The confrontation happened with the sudden violence that can erupt in seconds and echo through eternity. When Officer Chirino spotted Jason Banegas in the Emerald Hills neighborhood, what should have been a routine investigation turned into a deadly struggle. According to the statement Banegas later gave to police, both men fought for control of the gun. In those chaotic moments under the glow of streetlights, time seemed to stretch and compress simultaneously. The weight of the weapon between desperate hands, the sound of heavy breathing and scuffling feet on asphalt, the split-second decisions that would determine who lived and who died. Then came the explosion of gunfire that shattered the suburban quiet. Officer Yandy Chirino was shot in the face. His career of protecting others ended in an instant of unimaginable violence, leaving behind questions that would haunt everyone involved. How did it come to this? The investigation that followed revealed a story more complex and heartbreaking than anyone could have imagined. Detectives worked methodically to understand not just what happened that October night, but who Jason Banegas really was. The facts were undisputed: he had killed a police officer. But as investigators peeled back the layers of his life, they uncovered a childhood so traumatic it defied comprehension. Born to a father who dealt drugs and a mother whose addiction sometimes drove her to prostitution, Banegas and his sister were abandoned for days at a time with no food, no supervision, no hope. Social workers' reports painted a picture of neglect so severe that survival itself seemed miraculous. Psychological experts would later testify that this wasn't just poverty, it was systematic trauma that had shaped every moment of Banegas's young life, creating wounds that might never heal. The Broward County courtroom became an arena where two fundamental questions battled for supremacy: does justice demand an eye for an eye, or can mercy coexist with accountability? Prosecutor Stephen Zacher reminded the jury that Officer Chirino had a life ahead of him, and that killing a law enforcement officer warranted the ultimate punishment under Florida law. But defense attorney Lene Lafargue's voice cracked with emotion as she pleaded with the 12 jurors: must we kill Jason Banegas? Is that the only option that you have? I say no. What say you? The courtroom fell silent as she described the childhood that had shaped this young man, the hunger, the abandonment, the trauma that psychologists said had left him ill-equipped for the real world. After less than 2 hours of deliberation, the jury returned with their answer: life in prison without parole. They had chosen mercy over vengeance. Today, 2 families live with the permanent consequences of that October night in 2021. Officer Yandy Chirino's family mourns a son, brother, and protector whose commitment to serving others cost him everything. They carry his memory while struggling with the knowledge that his killer will spend decades behind bars rather than facing execution. Jason Banegas, now 23, will never see freedom again. He will grow old in a prison cell, a living reminder that while our past may shape us, we remain responsible for our choices. The jury's decision reflects perhaps the most complex aspect of our justice system, that even in cases involving the most serious crimes, the scales of justice must weigh not just the act itself, but the human story behind it. As Judge Kalra scheduled sentencing for February, one truth remained absolute: October 18, 2021, changed everything for everyone it touched, proving that justice is never simple and mercy is never guaranteed.